when you're looking at applications already, perhaps what you've been doing at the TM's group, what development activities can easily be automated using Copilot?
Key for me has been writing those small repetitive routines where some action needs to happen over and over again, and I need similar routines that are slightly different. Copilot helps me get those written fast. They're very mundane, but they take a lot of fingers on keyboard time. The other part is going back and adding documentation. We all want our code to be well documented, but that takes time and it doesn't provide direct value to the client,
Hmm.
future client, but not now. And then the test routines to make sure that code is good. And something called refactoring that we do a lot in the development world is you write a routine and it works, but it's messy.
Yeah.
Copilot's actually really good at taking a routine that works, but is a hot mess and really cleaning that up. But if it works, I've got time and budget to deal with. I'm moving on to the next task, even though I know it could work better.
Yeah.
Copilot can actually refactor things really well. These are all things that give me time back, and I can work on complex concepts. And they tend to get left out due to cost.
Yeah. I actually thought it would be the other way around, that unless you were talking about something else, but I thought that the code that Copilot would spit out wouldn't be the prettiest code, and that it would be up to the human developer to clean it up. But you're
It can
saying Copilot can
work
do it.
that way. Quite often, if I ask Copilot for 50 lines of code to do, ask for a routine, it spits out 50 lines of code that solve that problem. And often I do have to go in and clean that up. But if the routine is long and complicated, Copilot can't really do that well,
Hmm.
but it can take a long, complicated thing and clean it up really well. It's interesting how it comes at it from two different sides. It can write short code fast, and then I have to clean it up, or I can write long code that takes me time and effort, but is too complicated for Copilot to do, and then Copilot can clean it up for me. So it really is helpful on both sides.
Okay. Oh, that's really good. I didn't know that.
I
Um,
I I I also program in multiple languages, so I'll sit down and I've been programming in like C# all day, and now I need to write something in Business Central AL, and I need a case statement. And for the life of me, I can't remember what a AL case statement looks like. Well, I can start writing the case statement and let Copilot throw suggestions at me and remind me what the syntax is supposed to be.
yeah,
And that's
that's
like
powerful.
having that pair programmer, like, hey, how does that work again? And have it spit out an answer for me and help me out.
Yeah, that's a true Copilot then, and that's
Hmm.
very powerful.
And then there's all the non-code activities where I can finish a routine. I can ask Copilot to document it. I can head right up to the top, give me documentation on this routine. It'll read it and give me a paragraph explaining it. Documentation takes a ton of time.
Yeah,
And from the client standpoint, that's not worth anything. But when an update to that code is needed, future me and the client really want that documentation.
yeah,
And Copilot really helps future me with that. It also is helpful when I take over somebody else's code or come back to code I wrote long
hmm,
ago pre Copilot. And I've got this huge routine, and I'm like, what does this do? Copilot, explain to me what this routine does. And it spits out a beautiful paragraph explaining what the code does. And I can read that and get caught back up to a routine that I wrote long ago and didn't document, or somebody else wrote and didn't
yeah.
document. It can do that later.